Hello, 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 and welcome to Get Comfortable by Lizana-Prodeaux. I am the voice behind Get Comfortable. This is a phone call message. This is a fairly new type of thing that I'm doing where I record while I am on the move. So there is noise in the back, and everybody does not like that. So I totally get it. I call these phone call messages because it reminds me of what it would be like to talk to a friend or a relative or a loved one while traveling, and you just are having a conversation as you are moving about. So today's message comes from a dream that I had in regards to protection. Um, I was in a dream with a few other children, with two young children. The two young children and I were getting ready to ride these motorized scooters. The young child was getting ready to take a leap off of some steps on with the scooter, and somebody over in the distance said, "Do you guys have helmets?" Because we didn't have any headwear, we didn't have any headgear on. And the young child said, "No, we don't have helmets." And I said to the individual, I believe it was a female, an older female, and I said to the individual, "No, but do you know where to get some from? Do you know where to get any from?" And they told us where to go. So we got off the scooters and we went over. We found these helmets, but these helmets were a bit different than the helmets that you would typically see somebody using if they were riding a motorized scooter. And when I say motorized, I mean like almost like a razor type of scooter, but with a motor, something that you hit a button or you push the clutch and it's electric and it moves you forward. You understand, like quick. Not like one of those ones you sit in if you are, trying to get around. Not that. This was like one of the things where you typically have one foot on and you would normally kick push. But you don't really have to do that here because it's motorized and it's electric, right? So we get the helmets. The helmets have a lot more padding in them than a typical helmet for this. You can see the padding covering the face, like the cheeks coming down that way, where typically a helmet only covers and pads the head. This came down, the straps came down, they were padded inside the straps and it's wrapped around the face. It's snugly and securely snapped underneath, but it was just so much, it looked so comfortable and it looked so like so much more like protection was added to this helmet. So I came away from what I was seeing in the dream, and it stuck with me for a few days because sometimes I like to meditate on what it is that I'm getting from it. I don't want to just jump out and give it my own thing. When I came away from the dream, it took me a day or two, but the first day, what I realized was the helmet was representing the armor of God. So there's a few messages that I got from this. The first one was, some of you have tried to jump off the top step with um, a venture, or not adventure, but a venture. Some of you have a business idea. Some of you have just good news that you want to share, or you are forming something. Do you understand? And you have been going back and forth in your mind about saying what it is you're up to and what it is you're doing. The way that the person stopped us from jumping, the younger child from jumping off that top step without the helmet, is God saying to you, it's not time yet for you to reveal this good news. You need some protection first. So I don't know if you've been praying on it or about it, but I'm assuming if you're here at this channel, you have been. Maybe you need to ask God what it is He needs you to do. What other protections and security needs to be placed around this before it can be revealed? And if He wants you to reveal it yourself, or if it's something that needs to be revealed in a different way, it's not time yet for it to be open and talked about yet. This is not something that you need to do right now. You need something more before this can, be presented. Okay? It's not going to make sense to everybody because I feel like that portion is kind of specific. Everybody's not going to have something that they're working on. But this could also be a relationship. Maybe you too, maybe you're in a relationship and things were private for a while and you're thinking that this is the time to let people know that you guys are together. But it's not the time because it's going to be a lot of hate. It would be a lot of people trying to like prematurely tear you guys apart. And I'm not saying that your relationship isn't strong, but what I am saying is if it's fresh and it's new and you guys have been through some obstacles, if it's fresh and it's new, you still need to go through some things possibly before you can really solidify it and know that it is, true and real. And sometimes that comes with just time and patience. But if this is something that has been tried and true, um, some people and people have seen some of the changes and things that you have experienced. There's going to be others that are not going to want to see you and this person, like do this the right way. Does that make sense? Before you go ahead and just hop off on your own, you need to sit with God and ask him, what is it that you require of me? What is it that you need from me or us or whoever is involved before we do this, before we take this leap? Because that's what I've seen it as, a leap. Or that's what the Holy Spirit has led me to be able to see. The second thing is you, you, you've been fighting a lot of stuff by yourself. You've been fighting so many different things by yourself. And you've always leaned on your own understanding and your own capabilities. But so much so that you sometimes are just ready to jump off and leap into things head first and just take the consequences after. Because you have been failed and let down so many different times by certain situations that your faith is not as strong as it should be because you have faith in self. So you put so much pressure on you to be something that God doesn't really necessarily, I'm not going to say want you to be, but he doesn't want you to feel like you're alone. He wants you to put faith in him to help you fix and, what's the word I'm looking for? Regulate certain things. You don't have to be the regulator in your story all the time. You don't have to be the person who fights every battle. You don't have to do that alone. God is there to help you. And this season that you're in or going into, you got extra protection. You have extra padding. You have extra security. And the reason is because God is like, listen, I have to take things into my hands a little bit. Not a little bit. God is like, I have to take things into my hands because this child is out here just jumping head first. And I know that they're strong and I know that they want to do everything on their own, or I know that they think they have to, but I am the father. I am the Omega, and I'm saying you don't have to do this. And I've seen you do it for so long, and I don't want to see it no more. Some of you could come from backgrounds where you didn't have a dad. Some of you can come from backgrounds where you didn't have parents, or you just didn't have anybody in your corner. And so now you got this whole thing where you just feel like you have to do everything by yourself, and you don't. So God's like, no, I'm gonna give you, and that's confirmation right there. I'm saying that as I'm saying that, a female just drove by in a big ass truck. Like, this truck was huge. Okay? She was the one holding the horn because people wouldn't let her by. But that in itself, being a truck driver as a woman, is a masculine role. So whoever I'm talking to, maybe you are a person who felt like you had to be masculine. Do you understand? Like, you feel like you have to be masculine, and I don't even want to say that. Maybe you acted a masculine role because you always felt like you had to, because you don't feel protected. But in this season, God is protecting you. God is saying no more. You are going to learn that having faith in me, it pays off. You're going to learn that I'm going to show you just how much stuff I can do for you without you doing anything. Do you understand? I'm going to let you know that the stuff that you're doing is so minor to what I'm able to do. so small, a drop in the sea to what I'm able to do and achieve if you just rely on me. So what you're getting ready to sing, this is coming way out of left field, child, because this is nowhere near what I intended. What you're getting ready to see is moments that happen that you have nothing to do with. Moments and progress that you have nothing to do with. What you're going to start to see is stuff that you doing on your own, not working, but other things working that you may have forgotten about, or just like I said, don't have anything to do with, because God doesn't want you to feel like you're doing this on your own. He wants you to know that there's an external source, which is Him, that is able to create and do whatever He sees fit and necessary. And right now, what He sees fit is for you to not have to battle through life on your own without His protection. Some of you may have even given up on God in a way. Some of you may feel like you are no longer just like allowing anything to dictate who you are or what you're capable of. You know, you still feel as though you're in control. And God is getting ready to show you in a modest way, in a safe way, not in a hard way. Because I think I need to say that. He doesn't want to make an example out of you, but at the same time he does, but in a good way. Like, I want to show people that, you know, this person can be, doesn't have to just wear this armor that they created. Like, I'm going to give them the armor, you know, my armor, and allow them to feel better, and not like they have so much, to like worry about. They see that you're tired. They know that you're strong, but he sees that you're tired. He sees that you're stressed. He sees that you just have a lot on your plate, and he's tired of it. And he's covering you with his armor because he knows that you deserve it, and he's restoring your faith at the same time and making sure that you know this was not of you. Nothing that is going to happen to you going forward is going to be anything that you've done, but just by the power and spirit of the Lord blessing you and just, you know, recharging you, I guess. But that covering that you're going to have is going to be so powerful and just so protecting. You're going to feel so loved and covered, you know. So I know this was kind of a long message. I didn't intend for it to be this long, but sometimes when we get this, you know, I get to speaking and talking about these things, sometimes the messages go in a whole other different direction that I didn't intend for them to go, because this is not of me. Okay. I love you guys so much, so much, and I pray that you guys are having an awesome day. Please be safe and please take care. What else? What else do I normally say? I love you to the moon and back, but God loves you more. Bye.